You spend money spraying these out of your yard, but they're hiding some of the planet's best nutrients. Before we begin, one quick safety note. Always be certain of identification. Avoid harvesting from chemically treated lawns, roadsides with heavy traffic or industrial sites, and consult a healthcare provider if you're pregnant, nursing, on medication, or have a history of kidney stones or other chronic conditions. Ready? Stick around for number 4 and number 1. They're real game changers. For centuries, people who lived close to the land treated these same plants as medicines and food. Modern researchers have since unpacked why. Many of these weeds pack concentrated vitamins, minerals, proteins, or unique compounds that are hard to find in conventional produce. Today we're counting down 10 backyard weeds that are genuinely worth trying. Each entry includes how to identify it, what part you can eat, the standout nutrient or compound, a traditional use, plus a research-backed note, a practical way to try it, and a safety flag so you can experiment responsibly. Let's go. Number 10. Red clover. AD and habitat. Red clover grows low and mat-like with trifoliate leaves and round pinkish flower heads about an inch across. You'll find it in lawns, meadows, and compacted soil patches. It likes sunny spots and often appears where clover seed was mixed into lawn blends. Edible parts and prep. The flowers are the prize. Pick whole heads and use them fresh in salads, dry them for tea, or infuse them into honey. Leaves are also edible when young but can be slightly bitter. Nutritional highlight. Red clover flowers are rich in protein relative to many floral teas and contain isoflavones, plant compounds that behave like mild phytoestrogens, along with a decent mineral profile, iron, calcium. Tradition plus research. Traditional herbalists brewed red clover as a lung and blood tonic. Modern phytochemistry shows the isoflavones, like formononetin, may explain some historical uses. Clinical research is preliminary, but has explored red clover extracts for menopausal symptom relief and cardiovascular markers. Results are mixed and dosage dependent. Must try. Make a chilled red clover iced tea. Steep a handful of fresh or a tablespoon of dried flowers in boiling water for 10 minutes. Strain, cool, and sweeten lightly with honey or elderflower syrup. The floral tea is refreshing and can be a mild, protein-rich, caffeine-free beverage. Safety note: because of the isoflavones, people with hormone-sensitive conditions or those on certain medications should consult a clinician before regular consumption. Always avoid lawns recently treated with herbicides or pesticides. Number 9. Broadleaf plantain, Plantago major ID and habitat. Broad, oval leaves with pronounced veins that form a low rosette. Distinctive parallel veins from base to tip. Often found in compacted soil, walkways and well-trodden lawns. Edible parts and prep. Young leaves can be eaten raw in small quantities or softened by sautéing. Older leaves are best cooked into soups or mashed like spinach. Seeds can be dried and used similar to psyllium for bulk fiber. Nutritional highlight: plantain leaves offer a good dose of soluble fiber and minerals like calcium and potassium. The mucilaginous texture means it's soothing to the digestive tract. Tradition plus research. Folk medicine used plantain poultices for minor wounds and insect bites. Modern studies point to antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory properties in its extracts, which aligns with traditional topical applications. Must try. Make a simple plantain leaf salad. Pick the youngest 3 or 4 leaves, wash, chiffonade and toss with lemon, olive oil and toasted seeds. For a soothing soup, cook chopped plantain in stock with onion and potatoes and blend until silky. Safety note: plantain is generally safe, but double-check identification. Don't confuse with other low rosette plants. Avoid harvesting from animal-heavy areas where contamination is likely. Number 8. Chickweed, Stellaria media. ID and habitat. Low sprawling mats of delicate opposite leaves and tiny star-shaped white flowers. It thrives in cool, moist lawns, garden beds and shaded corners. Edible parts and prep. The tender leaves and stems are best eaten raw in salads or blended into pesto. They have a mild green flavor and soft texture. Nutritional highlight. Chickweed is a surprisingly good source of vitamin C for a leafy green and provides trace minerals and a light amount of protein by fresh weight standards. Tradition plus research. Historically used as a cooling poultice for skin irritations and as a spring green, chickweed's high water content and vitamins made it a go-to in early season diets. Contemporary lab work has identified compounds with mild anti-inflammatory potential. Must try. Toss a generous handful of clean chickweed into mixed salads or blend it with parsley, lemon and olive oil for a bright dressing. Because it's mild, it pairs well with bitter greens. Safety note, chickweed can appear in large mats. Harvest with care to leave roots intact so it can regrow. Avoid plants from recently treated areas. Number 7. Curly Dock, Rumex crispus. ID and habitat. Tallish plant with long, lance-shaped leaves that are ruffled at the edges and a central spikes-like seed stalk later in season. Often found at lawn edges, ditches and disturbed soils. Edible parts and prep. Young leaves can be cooked like spinach. Seeds can be parched and ground into a coarse flour. Roots have been used in traditional medicine, but are less commonly eaten. Nutritional highlight. Curly Dock has a notable iron profile. In some comparisons, it can rival the iron content of spinach on a dried or cooked basis, and it offers beta-carotene, a vitamin A precursor. Tradition plus research. Folk foragers use dock leaves to counteract minor plant-induced skin irritation and as a bitter green for digestion. Modern analyses show significant mineral content, which helps explain its value in famine or scarcity diets. Must try. Blanch young curly dock leaves briefly to reduce bitterness, then sauté with garlic and lemon for a nutrient-rich side. For seeds, consider toasting and mixing with wheat or gluten-free flours at a low substitution rate for baking. Safety note, curly dock contains oxalates, oxalic acid. People with a history of calcium oxalate kidney stones should moderate intake and consult a clinician. Always blanching or cooking reduces a portion of the soluble oxalates. Number 6. Garlic mustard, Aliaria petiolata. An invasive you can eat. ID and habitat. Heart-shaped toothed leaves early in the season, later forming tall stalks with small white flowers. It prefers shaded understories, old fields and hedgerows, and is a common invasive in many temperate regions. Edible parts and prep. Young leaves offer a garlicky flavor and can be used raw in salads or pesto. Roots and seeds can also be used as a mustardy spice. Nutritional highlight. Garlic mustard is vitamin-rich for an early spring green and contains glucosinolates, sulfur-containing compounds that give brassicas their peppery bite and are under study for various metabolic effects. Tradition plus research. Not a traditional native food in many areas, it has nevertheless become an emergency green and flavoring. Researchers study its chemistry mostly to understand its invasiveness and allelopathic properties, but the glucosinolates are the same family as those in culinary mustards. Must try. Make a simple garlic mustard pesto, blitz young leaves with olive oil, nuts, lemon, and a touch of hard cheese. Use it as a sauce for pasta or a spread on toasted bread. Safety and ethics note. Because garlic mustard is invasive, eating it can be a tool for local management. But check local regulations before large-scale harvesting and never damage native plants in the process. Don't advocate broad commercial harvests. Doing this thoughtfully at a small scale can reduce local populations without harming ecosystems. Mid-video note. If you're enjoying this guide and want more deep dives into wild food and kitchen uses, click like and subscribe. There's a lot more hidden food to explore. Number 5. Lamb's quarters, Chenopodium album. ID and habitat. Upright plant with powdery coating on younger leaves, triangular to diamond-shaped leaf blades, common in gardens, compost piles, and disturbed soil. Edible parts and prep. Young leaves make an excellent cooked green. Seeds can be collected and toasted or ground into flour. This plant is sometimes nicknamed wild spinach or wild quinoa. Nutritional highlight. Lamb's quarters are notable for a high protein fraction among leafy greens when considered by dry weight, and an excellent source of calcium and vitamin A precursors. Tradition Plus research. Widely used as a spring vegetable across many cultures, it supplied crucial nutrients before garden crops matured. Contemporary nutritional analyses show significant protein and mineral density compared to many cultivated greens. Must try. Treat it like chard or spinach. Quickly sauté with garlic and lemon, or mix wilted lamb's quarters into eggs or grain bowls. For an old-fashioned pantry trick, collect mature seeds, dry and toast as a cereal or baking additive. Safety note: lamb's quarters contain saponins and oxalates in measurable amounts. For most people, brief cooking and varying your greens minimizes any concern. If you have kidney stone history, consult a provider and rotate greens. Number 4. Stinging nettle, Urtica dioica. A powerhouse that needs handling ID and habitat. Tall, serrated leaves on square stems, often in clumps at edges of shady fields, hedgerows and moist spots. When touched alive, the tiny hairs deliver a stinging sensation. Edible parts and prep. Young tips and leaves are the culinary choice, but they must be cooked, blanched or dried to neutralize the stinging hairs. Drying, freezing, or cooking collapses the irritating chemicals and makes nettles safe and delicious. Nutritional highlight. Nettle leaves are exceptionally nutrient-dense, often cited as having 20 to 25% protein by dry weight, high iron and calcium levels, and significant B vitamins. They also contain flavonoids and other bioactive compounds. Tradition Plus research. Used across Eurasia as food and medicine, nettles are a traditional spring tonic. Studies have investigated nettle preparations for allergy symptom modulation, benign prostatic hyperplasia symptoms, and anti-inflammatory actions. Results vary by extract and dosage, but the pharmacology helps explain centuries of use. Must try. Make a classic nettle soup, blanch a big pot of nettle tips for a minute, drain, then sauté onion and potato, add stock, simmer, add nettles, and blend to a vivid, silky green soup finished with cream or olive oil. Blanched nettles also make an excellent filling for omelettes and savory tarts. Safety note: never eat raw nettles. The stinging hairs contain histamines and formic acid. Always handle with gloves when harvesting, blanch or dry immediately, and freeze excess for later. If you're taking blood pressure or anticoagulant medication or have a condition that affects blood clotting, consult your provider before frequent use. Number 3. Wood sorrel, Oxalis spp. ID and habitat. Clusters of trifoliate, heart-shaped leaflets that fold at night, often small, with delicate yellow or pink flowers. It grows in lawns, shaded garden corners, and beneath trees. Edible parts and prep. The leaves, flowers, and seed pods have a lemony, tart flavor and are usually eaten raw as a flavoring or garnish. Nutritional highlight. Wood sorrel is rich in vitamin C and astringent oxalic acid, which gives it the lemon tart flavor and preserves it against microbes. Tradition Plus research. Historically used to add tartness to dishes and as a cooling spring green. The oxalic acid explains both its culinary appeal and the caution historically attached to overconsumption. Must try. Sprinkle a handful of wood sorrel into mixed green salads. Use its tart leaves to brighten fish ceviche or yogurt-based dressings, or steep the flowers for a light citrusy infusion. Safety note: because wood sorrel contains significant oxalates, people prone to kidney stones or with certain mineral metabolic conditions should limit intake. Treat sorrel as a flavoring rather than a daily staple. Number 2. Purslane, Portulaca oleracea. ID and habitat. Low, succulent mats with smooth, spoon-shaped leaves and reddish stems, usually flowering with tiny yellow blooms. It thrives in hot, compacted soils and cracks in sidewalks as well as garden beds. Edible parts and prep. Entire above-ground plant is edible, raw in salads, quickly sautéed or pickled. Its succulent texture makes it pleasant in raw applications. Nutritional highlight. Purslane stands out among leafy greens for omega-3 fatty acids. It's one of the richest common plant sources of alpha-linolenic acid, ALA. It's also rich in vitamin A, magnesium and potassium, with a pleasant lemony sour touch thanks to oxalates. Tradition plus research. In many Mediterranean and Middle Eastern cuisines, purslane has been a staple green for centuries. Recent nutrient analyses emphasize its ALA profile and antioxidant content, which help explain its traditional role in hot weather diets. Must try. Make a purslane salad with cherry tomatoes, thinly sliced red onion, lemon vinaigrette, crumbled feta, and a handful of toasted walnuts for extra omega-3s and crunch. Alternatively, quick pickle purslane stems for a briny condiment. Safety note. Purslane contains oxalates, so moderate consumption is wise for those with kidney stone histories. Also avoid collecting from street-side cracks where pollution could accumulate. Number 1. Dandelion, Taraxacum officinale. The complete backyard superfood ID and habitat. Familiar toothed leaves in a basal rosette, bright yellow composite flowers that close at night, and fluffy seed heads. Ubiquitous in lawns, fields, and disturbed ground. Edible parts and prep. You can eat almost everything. Young leaves as bitter salad greens, flowers for fritters or syrups, roots roasted as a coffee substitute, and buds pickled like capers. Nutritional highlight. Dandelion is a nutritional all-rounder. Leaves are high in vitamins A, C, and K, and minerals like iron and calcium. The roots contain inulin, a prebiotic fiber that supports beneficial gut bacteria. In comparisons, certain stages of dandelion leaf have been shown to contain as much or more vitamin C than some common vegetables on a fresh weight basis, and roasted root offers concentrated inulin for digestive support. Tradition plus research. Dandelion has a long history as both food and medicine. Traditional herbalists used it as a liver and digestive tonic and a spring green to restore nutrients after winter. Modern studies have explored dandelion extracts for antioxidant capacity, liver-supportive activity in lab models, and microbiome effects thanks to inulin. These findings don't make dandelion a cure, but they do back up centuries of culinary and medicinal use. Must try. Try this backyard staple in 2 ways. A dandelion salad with tender young leaves, shaved parmesan, walnuts, and a bright mustard vinaigrette, and roasted dandelion root coffee. Clean and chop roots. Roast at moderate oven heat until deep brown, then grind and brew like coffee for a rich, slightly bitter caffeine-free cup. Safety note. When harvesting dandelions, target young leaves for salads. Older leaves are more bitter. And avoid lawns that have been treated. People on blood-thinning medications should be cautious because of dandelion's vitamin K content, and consult a healthcare provider before making it a daily habit. Also, always wash well to remove soil and pollutants. Now a few practical cross-cutting tips before a quick demo. How to harvest, wash, and cook safely. Identification confidence. If you're ever uncertain about a plant, wait. Don't taste. Use a regional wild plant guide, pocket field guide app with photo verification, or cross-check with a local foraging group. Many lookalikes exist. When in doubt, skip it. Where not to harvest. Avoid lawns recently treated with herbicides or fertilizer, roadsides with heavy traffic, industrial sites, and areas frequented by dogs. Pollutants and pesticide residues can concentrate in leaf tissues. Harvest ethically. Take only a small portion from any single population. Rotate your harvest spots and never remove entire plants unless they are invasive and local authorities support removal. For perennials like nettles and dandelions, Harvesting tips encourages regrowth. For annuals, collect seed only at sustainable rates. Clean well, rinse greens in cool water, change water if particularly gritty. And for wild greens with high surface contaminants, soak briefly and rinse again. Blanching not only neutralizes stinging nettles, but can reduce some surface microbes and soluble anti-nutrients. Introduce gradually. Try small portions first to check for personal allergy or digestive reactions. Rotate wild greens with garden greens to avoid excessive exposure to any one plant's compounds. Quick demo. Simple nettle soup you can make at home, and a note on storing. Gather a generous bunch of young nettle tips. Wear gloves while harvesting. Bring a large pot of salted water to a boil. Add nettles and blanch for 60 to 90 seconds. Drain and squeeze out excess water. In the same pot, sauté chopped onion and a diced potato in olive oil until translucent. Add stock and simmer until the potato is tender. Add the blanched nettles, simmer for a couple of minutes, and blend until smooth. Finish with a squeeze of lemon and a drizzle of cream or olive oil. Nettles freeze well once blanched. Pack into portions and use in winter soups, stews, or omelettes. Practical recipe ideas for other plants we covered. Speed list. Red clover, chilled floral iced tea, or infused honey. Plantain, wilt into soups, or make a topical cold poultice for minor scrapes. Clean first. Chickweed, toss raw into spring salads or blend into herb sauces. Curly dock, blanch and sauté like spinach, or toast seeds into breads in small amounts. Garlic mustard, pesto or garlicy salad dressing in early spring. Lamb's quarters, sauté as a spinach substitute or collect seeds for toasting. Wood sorrel use as a citrusy garnish or in small quantities to brighten dishes. Purslane, raw in salads, pickled or quick sautéed for a succulent texture. Dandelion, young leaves in salad, roasted root coffee or fried flour fritters. A few evidence-forward notes without overclaiming. Many of these species have centuries of ethnobotanical use. Modern lab research often uncovers antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, or microbiome-related activities that align with traditional use. But clinical evidence varies. Some preparations have been evaluated in controlled studies for specific effects, while raw culinary use tends to be valued for nutrient density rather than pharmacological potency. Nutrient benefits are cumulative. Incorporating these greens and seeds regularly, rather than as one-off experiments, is how you convert garden weeds into a meaningful boost to your diet. Think of them as supplements from your yard, free, seasonal, and diverse. Final practical checklist before you try any of these. Confirm ID with 2 independent sources. Never harvest from treated or polluted areas. Start with a small serving. Watch for allergies or digestive upset. Cook nettles and dry or freeze extras for later. Rotate wild greens and keep variety in your diet. Follow local guidance on invasive species removal and don't scale up harvesting into commercial exploitation without consultation. Wrapping up, why your yard matters. What we've done here is reframe nuisance into nutrient. These plants illustrate food sovereignty in miniature, inexpensive, local, and resilient nutrition that complements grocery-bought produce. They connect tradition and science. Traditional communities ate these greens for good reason, and modern analyses explain much of that value. They also give you direct agency. A few minutes of careful harvest and a simple recipe can transform a lawn chore into a flavorful, nutrient-dense bite. Final ask. Tell me in the comments which plant surprised you most and which recipe you'll try first. If you make something, tag a photo. We'd love to see it. Share this video with a friend who mows more than eats, and subscribe if you want more backyard food deep dives. Go out carefully, taste curiously, and eat safely. Your lawn might be a supermarket you never noticed.